Sige ako kanta nih. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to visiting lecture today. For everyone who has entered the room, we're about to begin, so please have a seat and make yourself comfortable. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak, as Research Fellow Center of Excellence for Social Innovation and Sustainability from Universiti Malaysia Perlis. And a very warm welcome to the all participant and student from STEKOM University. Is it indeed a pleasure to have all of you on this memorable occasion today? And I would like to thank God for gathering us here in a visiting lecture program regarding management control system Pertamina case study. Before we begin, please allow me to read our agenda this afternoon. First, there will be start class presentation by Associate Professor Dr. Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak. And finally, the continue will be question and answer session after the presentation and continue with a brief photo session at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we will start for this event today, delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak. Yeah, for Dr. Akmar, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. May I know who will play the slide?
And this from your side, is it okay? Or our side, is it okay?
Can you play the slide for me, please?
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Bisa dibantu share screen PPT-nya? Udah dikirim di grup tadi. Yeah, just a moment, please. Miss. Dirimu atau Kak? Ini.
Assalamualaikum and selamat siang. Thank you, Ms. Chairperson and Universitas STEKOM for giving me this opportunity. Alhamdulillah, we are gathering here today via Zoom link for a webinar titled Management Control Systems, a Case Study of Pertamina, Indonesia. So my name is Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak. I am an associate professor at the Faculty of Business, Universiti Malaysia Perlis, Malaysia. So it's an honor to be with you all. And I would like to thank to Prodi S1 Business, Faculty of Academic Studies, Universitas Science and Technology, Universitas STEKOM, Semarang, Indonesia, for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge and experience on this topic. Next slide, please. So here's what we will be talking about in this webinar. So you can see why this topic is important by considering what, why, where, when, who, and how management control systems affect the organization. So we then look at Pertamina as a case study to show where management and control system have a significant role and impact on countries and nations. Next, please. Okay, the objective of this online webinar is to increase human resources capacity. So Universiti Malaysia Perlis, UniMAP Malaysia, and Universitas Sains and Teknologi Komputer, Universitas STEKOM Indonesia have the capacities and capabilities to nurture and develop the knowledge and skills of the talents in both countries to benefit the nations and world. So management control system has gone beyond accounting and financial issues in the current world context. So therefore, we will look into the perspective of human capital planning that require huge effort and attention from the upper echelon of the business world and competent leaders in the countries to make the right decision for their nations. So Pertamina is chosen as a case study because it reflects the Indonesia country directly. So now we are going to be more detailed about management control system. So a management control system keeps a close eye on how resources are used inside an organization. So the system assigns different people the task of managing resource consumption, and their performance is evaluated according to how well they are able to manage resources. So when performance is connected to the organizational goals, the control system performs at its best. A budget or other plan serves as the foundation for the data used in a management control system. Actual outcomes are compared to the plan, and any discrepancies are communicated to responsibility centers across the entire organization. So in this kind of system, some of the approaches that can be applied include hosting and budgeting, risk management, total quality management, and also program management. An organization is like a machine, such as a car or aeroplane. So although the driver or pilot knows this destination, but before we can reach there, it would be many obstacles that can divert the energy and focus of the people in the organizations. So control management is dynamic by responding to change and keeping business goals from front and center. It is continuous, action-oriented, consistent with effectiveness and efficiencies as its main objectives. So a control management system works when helps achieve organizational goals, minimize the errors, use and allocate resources effectively, evaluate standard accuracy, communicate discipline and order, motivate and boost employee morale. By revising the standard, we ensure future planning and improve the overall performance of your organization. So the process of control management. So below is an overview of the 5 steps of control management. First one is the performance standards are set, and the actual performance is compared to planned performance. The difference between the two is measured. Causes that contribute to the differences are identified, and corrective action will be taken to eliminate or minimize any discrepancies. So planned performance may already be established by senior management, but this process can be shared across all levels of the organization to set approach goals and expectations for everyone. So the importance of controlling and management. If every employee was doing what was best for the organization at all times, there would be no need for controls and possibly no management. But the reality is that employees may be unable or unwilling to act in the company's best interest. Therefore, a set of controls must be implemented to keep employees away from unwanted behaviors and to guide them towards desired behaviors. So control management is the process that helps an organizations identify errors and make appropriate corrections to keep project management on track. So establish controls what the company more likely to achieve its goals. A successful control management control system is a call to action by identifying significant deviations from the original plan and highlighting them so that they can be corrected. There are basically 6 types of controls that administrators must be aware of and practice. First one is feedback control, also called post control, is the most reactive control management. Manager collects information about an activity or task and calculates how much it is missing or meets the expected standards. So you can then work to improve future performance through the insights gained. Second one is a concurrency control, which is a dynamic real-time participation in running tasks. Managers can prevent worse things from happening before the activity is complete. The third one is feed-forward control, forward-looking control that anticipates problems by being very proactive and taking early corrective actions. So the fourth one is behavior monitoring, evaluate employee performance and decision making, and use reward system to encourage performance. So works best in multiple business units. The fifth one is financial management. It predicts future performance by comparing profitability, sales or assets against actual budgets. And the last one is non-financial management. We measure success using factors other than financial performance. For example, the customer satisfaction or employee retentions. Right, Henry Fayol, Guide for Upper Excellence. Give me 1 minute, yeah. Sorry about that. Right. So Henry Fayol, he was a manager. He was an engineer, and he works as a manager in a factory in France. Yeah? So in the 1920s, Henry Fayol developed the general theory of business administration, in which he is widely credited as the founder of modern management methods, and whose principles are still popular today. So the military adopted the practice and still endorse it today. So Fayol suggested that management has 5 main functions: planning, organizing, staffing, directions, and controls. So on this last point, he writes, corporate management consists in making sure that everything is carried out according to the plans adopted, the orders given, and the policies established. So your goal is to point out the error, fix it, and prevent it from happening again. So Fayol's controls are still relevant in the sense that managers like you and me need to receive feedback on the process in order to make necessary adjustments and analyze deviations. So today, aspects of administrations can be done on online platforms, but the principles and goals remains the same. As pointed out by Fayol, the key elements of the control process are characteristics to be checked, example, products sold or standards achieved, sensors, method of measuring or testing functionality, such as software or visual inspections, criteria comparison, deviations are expected, but how much should they be tolerated? Activator, response to comparative information, where corrective action taken to regain control. So why should management have a control systems? So here is the answer. The system can ensure that all employees follow the same rules and procedures. Therefore, part of the budget allocation is required. So a shortage of resources can affect an organization's ability to manage controls. So employee training, statistical software, and measurement system should be considered to avoid inaccuracies. So if there is a lag in the flow of information, administrators can run into problems at the wrong time in the sequence. So timely detections and reporting are of utmost importance. So there is always the risk of human error. So it's important to have reliable software that can reveal mistakes. So control management must be implemented and facilitated by upper echelons. So because despite the best of intentions, people don't always understand what is expected of them or how best to get the job done. So you may lack the necessary skills, training, or informations. So reasons for adjusting the management control system within an organization can be streamlined by considering its, where we are now. So the Associations of Southeast Asia, or Asian, is a 10-member regional bloc with a combined GDP of 2 trillion US dollar, a population of 650 million, and a land area of over 1.7 million square miles. So our Asian's area is larger than India's land area. So founded in 1967 by Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, ASEAN has since expanded to include Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam. ASEAN's community building efforts have three pillars: the political security community, the economic community, and the social cultural community. So ASEAN hosts biannual ASEAN Summits meeting and numerous ministerial and working level meetings to support its community building goals. ASEAN aims to promote economic growth of member states and regional stability through consultation, consensus, and cooperation based on the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation, of which 35 countries and the European Union are members. Through their combined efforts and influence, ASEAN member states have helped shape economic, political, and security-related trends and debates in the Indo-Pacific region, ASEAN summits, okay, to discuss, and also in other forums. So from here, we can see that where we in the ASEAN can determine, can also have influence to the economy of the world. Saudi Aramco. So this is the list of largest oil and gas companies by market cap as October 7, 2021. So Saudi Aramco, as the world's third largest company by market capitalization, is one of 5 companies in the $1 trillion club. So its market capitalization is close to the combined valuations of the other 19 companies on the list. But what makes the number even more surprising is the company's 2019 valuation less than 2 years before it the fact is that it went public in December. So, but the all giants valuation is not sudden. Aramco was the world's most profitable company in 2019 with the net profit 88 billion US dollar. Apple Corporation won its stake in 2020, but high oil prices could see Aramco will back up on top in 2021. The Standard Oil split a century ago, but is legally lives on today in the form of big oil. So the second and third largest companies on the list is then ExxonMobil and Chevron, direct descendants of Standard Oil. Additionally, Shell and BP acquired assets from Standard Oil original portfolio on its way to becoming a global oil giant. The geographic distribution of the largest oil and gas companies shows how global the industry is. The 20 largest oil and gas companies come from 10 different countries. There are 6 companies in the United States and 4 are headquarters in Russia. The remaining 10 locations are in China, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, or Europe. Next. So basically, oil and gas industry involves 3 segments: upstream, midstream, and downstream. So when we look at upstream, they have 2 parts. Either is offshore, on the sea, or on the shore. Sometimes we can see, like in America, most of their oil and gas they get from Texas, which is the country which has no coast. Okay. Next. So this is a South Asia oil and gas upstream market growth trends. We will see the COVID-19 impact and the forecast between 2023 until 2028. So the Southeast Asian oil and gas upstream market is anticipated to register a CAGR of over 5.5% during the forecast period 2022 until 2027. So the COVID-19 outbreak had a negative impact on the market as lockdown restricted imposed by the region's government reduced consumption of petrol products in the region. So demand for regional oil and gas fell by 520,000 barrels per day. Also, COVID-19 has delayed various projects across the region. For example, Indonesia has postponed its 6 oil and gas bidding rounds, and Petronas from Malaysia has postponed its Keridan cluster in Brunei and Malaysia. Factors such as increasing demand for oil and natural gas and increasing foreign direct investment are expected to boost the Southeast Asia oil and gas upstream market during the forecast. However, with the advent of reliable and cheap renewable energy, more investment may move away from oil and gas. So the offshore sub-segment is expected to dominate the market. Can you go back to the previous slide? So the offshore sub-segment is expected to dominate the market during the forecast period. Countries in the region are diligently seeking and producing oil and natural gas reserve. The result is increasing explorations and discovery, which can be an opportunity for many players and new market entrants. So Malaysia is expected to dominate the market during the forecast period due to new investments in the upstream oil and gas industry. Next. So the Southeast Asia region is the major oil and gas producer in the world, according to the latest data from the from the global economy for 2021, the region has 11.83 billion barrels of proven oil reserve. So in 2020, crude oil production in Southeast Asia countries such as Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, Malaysia, and Vietnam was about 92 million tons. Crude oil production is expected to increase as the country focuses on increasing hydrocarbon production through increased upstream investment and explorations activities. So investment in the oil and gas industry in major economies such as Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam have supported the growth of the industry. For example, the oil and gas sector received a total of 353.6 million ringgit of investment approved in Malaysia in 2020. Petronas, the national oil company, expect a foreign investment decision to rise by an estimated 10 to 15% in 2022 or 2023. In addition, large-scale deep water projects are becoming increasingly important in Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, new investment in oil and gas exploration is essential to meet the growing demand for oil and gas as countries in the region continues to expand. Deep water upstream assets receiving final investment approval in the region are expected to grow by approximately 70% by 2024. So now we are looking into the downstream market. The process of refining, marketing, and ultimately selling petroleum products is called downstream. In its downstream business, the company refines crude oil and natural gas and sells petroleum products to wholesale and retail customers. Processed natural gas is often sold directly to power and gas companies. So thus, the Southeast Asia downstream oil and gas market is segmented on the basis of refineries, petrochemical plants, and geography. The report also includes market size and forecast for the oil and gas downstream market for key countries in the region. So market size and forecast for each segment were prepared based on refining capacity. It's referred to thousands of barrels per day. Southeast Asia downstream oil and gas market is expected to register a CGR of over 4% during the forecast period. In the market has been negatively impacted by COVID-19. The market is now at pre-pandemic levels. In the medium term, increasing demand for oil and natural gas and increasing foreign direct investment are expected to boost the downstream oil and gas market in Southeast Asia during the forecast period. So on the other hand, the emergence of reliable and cheap renewable energy may discourage more investment from refineries, thereby hampering the market. Nonetheless, Southeast Asia countries are keen to find and produce oil and natural gas reserves, which could lead to increased exploration and discovery and offer opportunities for many refiners as import costs drop. Vietnam's downstream industry is expected to rise at a considerable rate during the forecast period. Increasing domestic consumption is the main driver of this growth. The construction and expansion of refineries are also taking place and are expected to boost the growth of the market. Can you go back to the previous slide, please? So we can see here, ExxonMobil Corporation, PT Pertamina, Shell PLC, Yandi Engineering Co, Petroleum National Berhad are the major companies operating in Southeast Asia oil and gas downstream market. If you can recall, a few months back, if I'm not mistaken, in the middle of January this year, Yandi Engineering Co, they give 120 months bonus for their staff because they are making profit in their downstream market. Next. The Indonesia oil and gas downstream market is expected to register a CAGR of over 4% during the forecast period 2027 until 2022 until 2027. So COVID-19 outbreak in the first quarter of 2020 has reduced refinery and petrochemical production. Factors such as increasing demand for petrochemicals, rising oil and gas consumption, and increasing investment in refineries and petrochemical projects are expected to drive the downstream oil and gas market during the forecast period. However, increasing adoption of electric vehicles is expected to hamper the growth of downstream oil and gas markets. So the refining segment is expected to dominate the market during the forecast period due to increasing refining capacity across the country. Digitization and modernizations of the refining and petrochemical sector should reduce refining costs. This is expected to create opportunities in the market during the forecast period. Rising domestic oil and gas consumption is expected to be the main drive of the Indonesia downstream oil and gas market during the forecast period. Next. The refining segment has generated significant demand in the Indonesia oil and gas downstream market in recent years and is expected to be continue to do so during the forecast period. So the country's oil refining capacity has grown by more than 2.5% over the past decades, from 1,099,000 barrels per day in 2010 to 1,127,000 barrels per day in 2022. So this is expected to continue to increase as the consumption of petroleum products increases. Refining throughput has increased in recent years due to increased domestic oil demand, rising oil prices, healthy growth in the tourism sector, and stable high refining margins. Indonesia is accelerating plans to nearly double its oil refining capacity and reduce its dependence on imported fuel products. The state-backed oil company, Pertamina, has announced plan to invest $48 billion over the next 7 years to increase its processing capacity to 1.8 million barrels per day from 1 million barrels in 2020. So in June 2020, the Balikpapan refinery in East Kalimantan, Indonesia was expanded, increasing crude oil processing capacity by 40%. So from 260,000 barrels per day to 3,060,000 barrels per day. So the refinery expansion project will be implemented in 2 phases. The first phase will be completed in 2023, and the second phase will be completed in 2026. Therefore, based on the above reasons, the refining segment is expected to dominate the Indonesian oil and gas downstream market during the forecast period. Indonesia is a developing country that has seen a significant increasing in oil and gas consumption in recent years, mainly due to the growth of the industrial and commercial sectors and the increasing population. So in 2020, the country's oil consumption was around 1,230,000 barrels per day in 2020, the country's natural gas consumption was over 41.5 billion cubic meters. So rapid growth in demands for oil and gas is expected to continue during the forecast period and beyond, supported by economic, industrial, and commercial growth. So growing demand for domestic oil and gas has led to significant investment by major domestic companies such as PT Pertamina, Persero, PT Perusahaan Gas Negara, TBK, PT Konusa Energy Indo, and Total Energies SE. Major players' shares in the country's refining capacities are expected to increase during the forecast period. So therefore, all the factors mentioned above are expected to help propel the Indonesian oil and gas downstream market during the forecast period. When we look at all these numbers, we can see that then there is a lot of opportunities for the young talents to explore new types of undertakings. Sometimes you have to explore what your country is looking forward in 10 or 5 years. So Indonesia oil and gas downstream market competitors analysis. So we can see that the key players in the market in Indonesia will be Pertamina Persero, Total Energies, Chevron Corporation, Shell, and ExxonMobil. So we can see that this Pertamina the country is belong to the company is belong to the country which is from Indonesia. So the rest is multinational companies where they have some they invest or they provide some of they open their companies in Indonesia and provides the oil and gas to the Indonesian populations. Next. Okay, sorry. Can you go to the previous slide? Right. So in August 2021, Indonesia company Chandra Asri Petrochemical announced that it has secured 1.7 billion USD dollar investment in Indonesia's second global integrated petrochemical complex. So in December 2021, Samsung Engineering won the front-end engineering design project for Indonesia's largest petrochemical plant in Tuban, Jawa. So the project aims to produce 700 tons of high-density polyethanol and linear low-density polyethylene, 300,000 tons of naphtha cracking center, and annual capacity of 1 million tons. So in January 2022, Lotte Chemical announced plans to build his $3.9 billion chemical plant in Indonesia. Lotte Chemicals Indonesia new ethylene project is located in Merak, Banten West, Java. So there's a lots of opportunity for Indonesians. This is an example how the government create the jobs by asking foreign investors to come and do their business in Indonesia. Next slide. So let's watch this video about Pertamina Hulu Energy in Aceh, Sumatra. Can you click this slide, please? Can you go back to the slide? Can you click Can you click the here? It should have some link.
Link.
No link.
Click what? Sorry.
Right. Okay. Can I share mine, please?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Can you see the videos? Can you hear? Boleh dengar?
No, no sound, but we can see the video.
No sound.
Yeah.
Macam mana nak bagi ada suara? Can you hear the sound? Ada sound? Tak ada
Still.
sound. Can you hear the sound?
I'm sorry, no.
Bisa dengar? Boleh dengar suaranya?
May you play again? Still no.
Okay, let me
Hello, Miss. Can you speak Indonesian?
sebentar ya. Saya cuba ni.
Enggak. Maksudnya ini soundnya itu belum terdengar. Bisa pas share, klik share screen. Di bawah itu ada share sound dicentang.
Sebentar ya.
Ketika share, klik share screen.
Sekejap saya keluar dan saya join semula sekejap boleh ya?
Oke. Mbak narasumbermu keluar. Udah join lagi belum? Sudah masuk belum ya, Mbak?
Boleh dengar saya?
Ya, terdengar, Miss.
Okey, saya hantar link. Nanti mohon dimainkan linknya ya.
Baik, oke.
Saya kongsikan di chat. Cuba mainkan, bisa enggak?
Nah, ini
This picture or
link YouTube, Miss.
yeah. It's not link. This is a picture, Miss.
Cuba yang ini. Can you try to connect to this link that I shared? Ada meeting chat.
Okay, Miss. Wait.
Please.
PHE NSB mengambil alih wilayah kerja Blok B seluas 1.309 km persegi. Blok B terdiri dari 3 lapangan gas darat, yaitu Arun, Blok Sukon Selatan A dan D. Ketiganya berada di Kabupaten Aceh Utara. PHE NSO mengambil alih wilayah kerja Blok NSO yang merupakan lapangan gas lepas pantai seluas 3.633 km persegi di Selat Malaka, Provinsi Aceh. Blok B dan Blok NSO sebelumnya dikelola oleh ExxonMobil Oil Indonesia Incorporated. ExxonMobil Oil Indonesia Incorporated telah memulai kegiatan lapangan minyak dan gas bumi di Aceh Utara sejak tahun 1968. Pengambil alihan kedua wilayah kerja ini merupakan sebuah momentum besar bagi PHE NSB dan PHE NSO.
PT Pertamina Hulu Energi NSB yang mengelola Blok B dan PT Pertamina Hulu Energi NSO yang mengelola Blok NSO ikut ambil bagian dalam upaya kemandirian energi di Indonesia, khususnya di Provinsi Aceh.
Produksi gas mentah PHE NSB dan PHE NSO mencapai 140 juta kaki kubik per hari dan kondensat hingga 1.750 barel per hari. Produksi gas dari lapangan-lapangan di Blok B dan Blok NSO diproses di fasilitas PT Perta Arun Gas di Loksmawe untuk kemudian dipasarkan ke perusahaan pupuk, kertas, dan jaringan gas di Aceh Utara. Dalam upaya memaksimalkan potensi minyak dan gas bumi, PHE NSB dan PHE NSO berpegang pada tatanan nilai Pertamina yang dikenal dengan 6C. Clean, Competitive, Confident, Customer Focus, Commercial, dan Capable. Prinsip-prinsip bisnis yang sehat, tata kelola korporasi yang baik, dan penciptaan nilai tambah melandasi setiap pengambilan keputusan di PHE NSB dan PHE NSO. Pekerja, mitra kerja, lingkungan, masyarakat sekitar, dan aset perusahaan adalah sumber daya yang bernilai bagi kami. Dalam menangani pengoperasian yang beresiko tinggi, kesehatan, keselamatan kerja, dan kelestarian lingkungan menjadi prioritas utama kami. Meminimalkan dan menihilkan kerugian akibat kecelakaan kerja dan risiko operasional merupakan kesadaran sekaligus perilaku yang akan selalu ditegakkan di lingkungan PHE NSB dan PHE NSO. Setiap individu di PHE NSB dan PHE NSO adalah individu yang profesional, berintegritas, serta berkomitmen pada riset dan pengembangan. Setiap kegiatan PHE NSB dan PHE NSO dilakukan dengan kesadaran pembiayaan yang efektif, efisien, dan memberi penghargaan pada setiap kinerja. Kami juga tidak melupakan bahwa kepuasan pelanggan merupakan orientasi layanan terbaik kami. PHE NSB dan PHE NSO dikelilingi sekitar 170 desa di Kabupaten Aceh Utara, Provinsi Aceh. Kami berusaha menjadi warga korporat yang baik. Untuk itu, dengan kesungguhan kami melaksanakan serangkaian program pemberdayaan masyarakat.
Bersama masyarakat, kami melakukan serangkaian kegiatan pemberdayaan yang membangun karakter dan bernilai ekonomis sebagai wujud dari tanggung jawab sosial.
Pemberdayaan masyarakat dimulai dari tunas-tunas masa depan bangsa, anak-anak. Program pendidikan anak usia dini, Semai Benih Bangsa, saat ini menjadi akses pendidikan berkualitas bagi sekitar 3.000 siswa. Terdapat 120 sekolah Semai Benih Bangsa yang diasuh oleh lebih dari 500 guru yang terlatih mengaplikasikan pendidikan berbasis karakter. Bersama program Indonesia Mengajar, PHE NSB dan PHE NSO berupaya meningkatkan kualitas pendidikan bagi lebih dari 650 siswa di 3 sekolah dasar. Pemuda sebagai tulang punggung desa mendapat pendidikan keterampilan di bidang mekanik, teknologi informasi, dan proses manufaktur. Anak-anak balita dan ibu hamil mendapat perhatian besar dengan program penguatan posyandu di 39 desa. Pelayanan posyandu semakin prima dengan layanan dari bidan dan kader kesehatan yang terlatih dengan baik. Perkebunan kakao menjadi salah satu tumpuan roda ekonomi Kabupaten Aceh Utara. PHE NSB dan PHE NSO mendampingi petani coklat yang mengelola puluhan hektar perkebunan kakao. Untuk semakin menguatkan posisi petani di pasar kakao, pendidikan koperasi
Hello, Miss. Enough?
Yeah. Can we go to the next slide?
Mr. Faiz?
So from this video, we can see that oil and gas is very important because it also can develop a residential area. It can build a city. So that's why this management control system is very important because in the oil and gas industry, it has lots of departments, lots of expertise being involved. So that's why we need a system to control so that what we have been planned at the top management can be delivered at the end side, and the workers or the employees know what is the target of the because it involved with the companies belongs to the nation or belong to the country. So anything that we have been working for, so it means that it will represent to our country. Apa yang karyawan bekerja, usahakan, dia akan membawa kepada keuntungan kepada syarikat yang milik negara. Keuntungannya akan terus kepada negara. Berlainan is different if the company is from the multinational companies like ExxonMobil or Shell. Right, background of Pertamina. So PT Pertamina or Persero now has over 60 years of experience in the energy industry. Pertamina's milestone began when the government of the Republic of Indonesia commissioned an army in the 1950s. So the military later established PT Eksploitasi Tambang Minyak Sumatera Utara to manage oil fields in the Sumatra region. So later on December 10, 1957, the company name was changed to PT Perusahaan Minyak Nasional or Pertamina for short. This day is still celebrated today as the birth of Pertamina. So in 1960, PT Pertamina changed its status to State Enterprise, PN Pertamina. Later on August 20, 1968, is joined PN Pertamina to become PN State Oil and Natural Gas Mining Company. So subsequently, the government, with law number 8 of 1971, regulated the productions and processing of oil and gas from oil fields and Pertamina's role in meeting the demand for fuel and gas in Indonesia. Respecting Pertamina's position, we have allowed this operation to carry out a public service obligations. So Pertamina is a belong to the countries. So any companies, all companies who wants to find any oil or gas in the sea or land of Indonesia, they have to go and have some collaboration with Pertamina. So pursuant to Decree number 31, year 2003, dated 18 June 23, State Oil and Natural Gas Mining Company changed its name to PT Pertamina Persero to conduct oil and gas business activities from upstream to downstream sectors. PT Pertamina was incorporated on September 17, 2003 under deed number 20. So on December 10, 2005, Pertamina changed the Sea Horse logo to green blue and red arrows to reflect its dynamic elements and environmental awareness. So through its subsidiary, PT Pertamina International, EP, Pertamina became a major shareholder of Moral ET Prom, MMP with a 72.65% stake. So Pertamina changed the business and fundamentals of the company on July 2026. So PT Pertamina changed its company vision on December 10, 2027 to become a world-class national oil company. In 2011, Pertamina narrowed down its vision to become a world-class national energy company. So in 2017, one of the real steps toward realizing their vision of becoming a world-class national energy company was the successful completion of the acquisition of French oil and gas company Moral at Prom. So we see that from 1950s. So Pertamina has been grown and changed the logos, changed their visions because they have to adapt to the context of the world and also the environments of the oil and gas industry. So as of February 1st, 2017, Pertamina became the majority shareholder of its MMP through its subsidiary PT Pertamina International EP, holding 72.65% stake. So now Pertamina operates in 12 countries on 4 continents. Imagine if Pertamina does not implement management control system, how the HQ in Jakarta knows what is going on in another in the Pertamina's companies in another 12 countries, okay, across the 4 continents. So going forward, Pertamina aims to produce 650,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day from its international operations by 2025. So as part of Pertamina's production target of 1.9 million barrels of oil equivalent per day. Resolute efforts to achieve energy resilient and self-sufficient have been established. So by 2025, we will see that oil and gas, especially in the refining area of Indonesia's industry, will be booming. So now we are in the 2023. If you are students, you are planning to graduate next year or this year or in 2025. So you have to prepare yourself. This is one of the areas that you can serve your country by working with the Pertamina. Next, please. Right, history of Pertamina. So Pertamina has I got this one is from Pertamina's website. You can go through and through this link. So their products mostly on the upstream, downstreams, and supported by the activities of children's subsidiaries and joint ventures. Why Pertamina have to do joint ventures? Because when you have lots of expertise in your countries, sometimes you got the opportunity to join with other good or excellent or old companies, oil and gas companies, to work in with other countries. For example, like Petronas in Malaysia. Sometimes if Shell wants to want to explore a new oil crude in certain Islamic countries, they cannot go direct. So they have to do some joint ventures with other Islamic countries. So either they can ask Petronas to join from Malaysia, or they also can ask Pertamina to join them. So collaboration between Petronas and Shell, or Petronas and Pertamina, will give opportunity for the talents in Malaysia or in Indonesia to work abroad and exposed to another technologies in oil industries. So performance of gas and new and renewable energy. Pertamina also develops renewable energy sources such as solar cells, geothermal, lithium-ion battery, biodiesels, green energy stations, and others. So Pertamina is a national energy company, 100% owned by the government of Indonesia, with the Minister of State-Owned Enterprise as the shareholder proxy. Same as in Malaysia, Petronas is a government-linked companies, belong to the government of Malaysia. Okay, so the information I got from the Pertamina website. If you are interested to know more, you can go to the link that I shared here, and you can read more. Okay, next. Okay, Pertamina has a strategic role to ensure the availability of energy for the nation and to energize energy sector of life across the country. Thus, Pertamina has developed an integrated business network that covers a range of services from the upstream to the downstream. On June 12, 2020, 6 subholdings were established under Pertamina. So we just watched the video just now. Pertamina Hulu Energy is focusing on the upstream subholding. We have Pertamina Gas Negara, focusing on gas subholding. We have Pertamina Kilang, Pertamina International, a refinery and petrochemical subholdings. We have Pertamina Power Indonesia, focus on power and NRE. NRE is natural renewable energy subholding. We have Pertamina Patra Niaga, commercial and trading subholding. We have also Pertamina International Shipping, integrated marine logistics subholdings. So these 6 subholdings will help Pertamina to focus more on building an energy sovereignty for Indonesia. So by consistently echoing the spirit of one energy, one Pertamina, we synergize all effort and activities in providing energy and direct them to be a combined power in energy sector, which will then empower the company to make bigger impacts on various efforts aimed at seeking solutions to virtual energy challenges. Next. So this graphic is taken from the official website of Pertamina. So it shows the upstream and downstream segments of Pertamina. Clearly, we can observe that this organization requires a broad range of talents to serve their operational, not only engineers and technical people, but also expertise in commercial and financial. Next. So, unlikely twins and differing fortunes, Malaysia's Petronas and Indonesia Pertaminas. So this is an article written in Reuters. So Malaysia Petronas and Indonesia Pertamina are state-owned oil companies that control their own energy sectors. But while Malaysia has allowed Petronas to pursue its own growth trajectory, Pertamina has been restricted by Indonesia government intervention and loaded by a subsidy program, so the fates of the two are vastly divided. So many consider Petronas and Pertamina to be twin companies, but in reality, it is not. Petronas is highly commercial, like an independent oil company, while Pertamina is a state-owned oil company driven by government policies and agendas, says energy consultancy Wood Mackenzie, Asia Pacific Upstream Oil and Gas. Okay. So benchmarking of two countries, oil and gas companies. So the consultancy estimates Petronas, which has invested far more than its Indonesia counterpart in exploration and acquisitions, will produce 1.6 million barrels per day of oil equivalent this year, which is a unit to describe joint oil and gas production against 0.8 million barrels of oil equivalent by Pertamina. So oil and gas reserves are estimated at 7.8 billion barrels of oil equivalent for Petronas and 5 billion for Pertamina. This is quoted by Wood Mackenzie. Yeah? So Sampurna, the Indonesian deputy minister, told Reuters there was no way Indonesia could become a net oil exporter again. He said Pertamina should expand its refining capacity to meet booming demand, emulating Petronas. So, but the Indonesian state-owned major, described by the government as an agent of development, is struggling to keep up the required spending to finance oil and gas production and build the infrastructure to meet rising domestic fuel consumption. So it has also to foot the bill for Indonesia's fuel subsidiaries. Ratings agency Standards & Poor's says this cost Pertamina $1.5 billion to $2 billion in lost profit last year. So by right, when we are selling or we are producing oil for our countries, so it means that we cannot sell at the price of equivalent to the market, because we use it as a domestic. So when you use your energy for domestic, definitely it must be cheaper, or else the people cannot afford to pay for the oil and gas. Okay, so while Malaysia also subsidized fuel, the cost is shouldered by the government, not Petronas. So Pertamina's profit were under 5 trillion rupiah, the lowest in over a decade in the first half of 2018. So full 28 results are yet to be announced. So Petronas, by contrast, achieved 26.6 billion ringgit profit during that time. We can see here in the chart. As President Joko Widodo seeks a re-election this year, it seems unlikely that Indonesia or subsidiaries will be rolled back at any time. So Chief Executive Widiawati, Pertamina's third CEO in as many years, has made her thoughts clear on subsidies. So the regulation is clear. She told reporters last month, adding fuel intervention is good. Intervention means that the government have to assist Pertaminas in order for Pertaminas to grow more. Okay. So the regulation is clear, and she told reporters last month, adding fuel intervention is good. If we free Pertamina from political intervention, I am sure the profits will return. Opposition Vice President candidate Sandiago Uno told Reuters. So Indonesia and Pertamina could capitalize on the discovery made last week by Repsol, which will attract attention from explorers. If they can capture more of this interest, Pertamina may find additional partnership opportunities, said Max Petrov, a senior corporate analyst at the consultancy. So you see, it's not a very direct industry if we want to embark into oil and gas. Okay, because this is very critical energy. Imagine if we don't have talents that can cook or understand the nature business of oil and companies, so we will be at the losing ends. Maybe they will discount our quality of gas and oil. That's why we have to develop our talents to have some interest in this oil and gas industries. We must have experts in the financials of oil and gas, the investments, and also the collaborations and joint ventures. Next. So conclusion, why management control system is crucial in Pertamina? First, because each is a government-linked company. So it belongs to the Indonesian government, and when it's the government's company, it means that is a people's company. So human capital development is crucial in Pertamina as it operates in dynamic and competitive industries, which is oil and gas. It must have a good controls in terms of internals, leadership of the upper echelons. So the CEOs, the top management of Pertaminas must be the people who have the exposure on the oil and gas industries. Okay, even the employees must be the skills workers. They must have ample time to learn and to go for training, because oil and gas is very dangerous in terms of it can easily exploit, and then the investment is not cheap. Externals, we must also have people either is Indonesians, or sometimes for example, in Malaysia last time, when we don't have any expertise in certain areas, we invite other people to lead our GLC, our government linked companies. So these experts will teach us, the locals, how to manage the industry, whether it is oil and gas, whether it is telecommunications, or is in the manufacturing industries. So we also need experts who have who can deal with the vendors and suppliers. Even we also, local people also can be vendors and suppliers. We also have to look, the Pertamina also have to look who is its competitors and who it can collaborate, okay, for joint ventures. And then, of course, when you want to operate in other countries, if Pertamina is backed up by Indonesia government, it's more easy, because the other government in other countries, they already know that this Pertamina is the Indonesia company and is being backed up by the government. And we also have to look into the customers. So through management control system, Pertamina can plan, manage, and recruit the right employees to serve the organization across any departments and countries. Next. Some organization systems are huge and complex. Imagine if Pertamina is operated in 12 countries in 4 continents. Imagine if you operate in 4 continents, it means that the time zone is different, the currency is different, the languages also different. So there is a more challenges than we face when we operate in our countries. Yeah. So some organizational systems are huge and complex, but how do we monitor them? Therefore, it is sufficient and common for organizations such as Pertamina to identify and monitor only the most critical conditions or characteristics of performance. So once we have identified the rates, the states we want to control, or a management number of states, you need to integrate communication and data collection sensors that collect information from the system and relay it to management. So this information must be quickly and accurately collected, interpreted, and compared to establish organizational or competitive standards. So after collecting the data and comparing it to the original standards, we can work on a strategy for making changes to our organization's processes. So the idea is that as we work to smooth out each component of the process, all come together to form a properly smooth operation. Next. Okay, thank you for your listening. I think we have already come to our last slides.
Thank you for your presentation, Dr. Ishak. And then we will go to the next session, Q&A session. For our audience, if you want to ask question, you can raise your hand or you can write in the room chat. Okay, for first question, if a country population use a lot of private vehicle and if you let it run out of gas, how can you prevent this from happening? This is question from Mr. Faiz. Thank you.
Is the question written here?
I'm read in the room chat also. Yeah, question from Mr.
Right, okay.
Faiz.
From Mr. Novita, is it? If a country's
Faiz.
if
Mr.
a
Faiz.
country population use a lot of private vehicles, and if you let it run out of gas, how can you prevent this from happening? private vehicles, it means transportation, is it, Mr. Novita?
Yes.
So if you let it run out of gas, how can you prevent this problem? Okay. Actually, when we talk about gas, oil and gas, Saudi Arabia, they have a stock of oil, crude oils that can last 500 years. So it means that we won't have a lack of gas. So if we use our vehicles, it means that at the moments when we use fossil energy, which is oil, is cheaper compared to if we change to electrical vehicles at this moment. When we talk about using fossil, actually is about the environments had been polluted from the smoke. Okay, because when we produce lots of smokes, we will make the environments hot or warm. So when we have because around our Earth we have ozone, so this heat, it cannot penetrate this ozone, so it cannot pass. So we become the green chambers. So when this heat we cannot pass through the ozone layer, it heat up all the ice. So the ice has become increased, melt and increased. So we have to understand that at the moment we have to minimize the use of our fossil. So we have to make another way of using different types of private vehicles. If we use public vehicles, it's okay. For example, like bus or train, it's more, or aeroplane, is much better compared to we use our individuals cars or motorcycles. So if we it's very difficult to prevent to prevent our people from using the private transport, because if people don't buy any cars or motorcycles, another industry will be jeopardized. For example, the car manufacturing companies will be jeopardized. The cars also use tire which is made of rubber. We also have electricals wiring in the cars, and the cars also involve lots of other things which will jeopardize other industries.
Okay, thank you for. And for the next question, which vehicle is more efficient with gas or with electric to both have a negative effect on the earth? Thank you. This is question from Miss Webriana. Thank you.
The question was about electric car, is it?
Yes, this is efficient using gas or electric.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the questions. The first one, okay. The price of the electric car is very expensive. The number two, you have to take some time to charge your cars compared to if you use fossil fuel. Okay, so this is among the challenges of changing from fossil vehicles to the electrical vehicles. The third one, the battery of the cars actually is more polluted compared to if you use fossil fuel, because we have to mine the lithium, okay, for the cars, and then at the same point, some points the battery cannot be used, so it's a waste. We have to deal with another waste from these electrical vehicles. So at the moment, from my personal view, still fossil fuel is of course is polluted, but it is the cheapest type of energy that we can use compared to electrical. Because, for example, where we get this electrical means that we got electric. Where we get this electric? From the gas, even from the oil. For example, in Malaysia, Petronas is a oil and gas companies, and we also have Tenaga Nasional Berhad, which is another government-linked company that concentrate on powered Malaysia. So all the electricals in Malaysia will be handled by this Tenaga Nasional. So even Tenaga Nasional, in order for them to, because they have their hydro, they can use water, they can use solar, they can use wind to produce electric, but compared to the coal and compared to the gas or oil and gas, which they get supply from Petronas, that is better, because without the electricity, you cannot have your car run. And to generate this electricity, you need your oil and gas, because solar is not enough. Okay, with this climate change, the sun that we get is not consistent, and the heat also sometimes cannot power long enough throughout the year. So that is the challenges of having a renewable energy. For example, like geothermal or wind. That's why Indonesia, you are so lucky in the sense that you have your oil and gas to power your country. You also have coal. Okay, normally people will buy coal from China, from Indonesia, and from Australia. Okay, to power the electric in their country.
Okay, thank you for answering. And the last question, this is from Ms. Sukamto. What is the strategy for oil company in the trend of clean energy? People start to reduce use oil and gas, replace with more green power like electric vehicles. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I will write in the room chat.
What is the strategy for oil company in the trend of green energy? People start to reduce use on oil and gas, replace with more green power like electric car. Is this the one that I answered just now?
Pardon?
What is the strategy from oil
Oil
company?
company. Yes,
All
this
right.
is question from Ms. Sukamto.
All right, okay. Definitely, if you are selling oil, definitely you won't agree with these electric vehicles. Okay, just imagine, like the slide I showed just now, US, 6 of top oil and gas producer is coming from US. But why US doesn't want to have electric cars or bullet train like Japan? Because if in US they adopt for electrical train or bullet train or more electric cars, so they would jeopardize their oil and gas industry as well, because lots of people are buying their their oil and gas. Imagine what happened to impact during the Ukraine war, when it's already 1 year already, when Russia go into Ukraine, okay, they start the war there. Okay, the intention was for we have to understand the geopolitical as well, because US want to sell their oil and gas to Europe, okay, due to this Ukraine. But the cost of travel, the logistic from US to Europe is far, so it's very cost. Because all the energy they get, the oil and gas they get from the US is very expensive. So before this, they get it from Russia, right? Because Russia provide all this oil and gas at a very low price. So when this EU doesn't want to buy the oil and gas from Russia, so Russia sell their oil and gas at very cheap price. So Indonesia and India make the effort to buy the price, make the effort to buy these oil and gas from Russia at a very discount price. So it means that these two countries is very brilliant, despite the threat on sanctions. But Indonesia's leaders and India leaders, they go for cheaper energy for the benefit of their people in their country. So if we say that, if you think that the country or the companies who produce oil and gas will go for green, they would say they will use green technology. It means that maybe produce less, destroy the environment, or they will make sure that there is no pollution in the sea. But they will concentrate. Even the refining plants tumbuh macam cendawan, because we have lots of crude oil that have no place to refine. Indonesia and Malaysia last time, we don't have any refinery plants. We have kita ada telaga minyak, but we don't have a refinery plants. So where is the refinery plants? It's in Singapore. So Singapore get the benefit which Malaysia and Indonesia didn't provide for our own countries. But now Indonesia and Malaysia already has their own refinery plants. So now we can get more profit compared to when we sell it or everything to Singapore to process.
Okay, thank you for answering. I think it's very clear answer from Professor. And we will go to the next session for them take a picture. Yeah, for this session will be handled with Mr. Faiz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Novita. Amazing SS now. Okay, for those who haven't activated the camera, you can activate the camera first so we can take photos together. Baik.
Oke. Bagi yang belum mengaktifkan kameranya, bisa diaktifkan terlebih dahulu agar kita bisa foto bersama untuk mendokumentasi acara di siang hari ini. Oke? Mr.
Okay.
Faiz?
Let me count from 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. I will return the event to Miss Novita.
Finally, we come to the end of visiting lecture today. We would like to say thanks again for Associate Professor Dr. Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak for their wonderful information. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. We hope this information will be beneficial for all audience, and I hope we can meet again in another event in the future. Also, I would like to thanks for all participants for attending this class today and making this event more interesting. At last, we hope to have more collaboration in the future with University Malaysia Perlis. The class for today ends here. We hope to see you soon, maybe from Dr. Noor. You will say something before. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you for coming and join this webinar, and hopefully we will do some collaboration in the future. And please, if you are in Malaysia, please come to University Malaysia Perlis. We are looking forward to work with you in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Dr. Ishak for sharing your knowledge. Yeah, for our audience, the class day ends here. We hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Ya, bagi peserta yang belum absen, bisa absen terlebih dahulu. Untuk Mr. Faiz bisa dibagikan di kolom chat lagi. Mungkin ada peserta yang belum absen. Thank you, Miss Noormaizatul Akmar Ishak. Thank you so much. Thank you for audience.
Okay, sampai jumpa lagi.
Okay, I think that's enough for today's event. Thank you. Good afternoon. Have a good rest. Bye-bye.